Hello, everyone. It's John Dickerson from MyQuillo, and we're excited today to talk with you about a program in Minnesota that's having some really dramatic results. With us today is Olivia Lepay, that is with the ARC of Minnesota and runs their peer mentoring program. Olivia, welcome.
Hello, all. Like John said, my name is Olivia Leip. I'm the peer-to-peer mentor program manager at the ARC Minnesota. And the program is focused on helping individuals, their families, and their support network explore employment options. And a big way that we do this is by connecting individuals with peer mentors. And peer mentors are just people with disabilities who have a job out in the community. And we love to connect individuals who are thinking about employment, what type of job they might like, how to apply to jobs with peer mentors, because then they can talk with someone who's been through that process themselves. They know what it's like to apply to a job, to go interview, to navigate having a disability in employment. And so we think it's really great to be able to connect those two people and for peer mentors to be able to share their knowledge and encourage people too as they look for a job. And I will go ahead and pass it over to Nate Clark, who is one of our peer mentors and has had a lot of success in his role and is just a great example of the program.
Hello, I'm Nate Clark from the Mankato area. I'm a peer mentor and a self-advocate, and I do want to highlight some areas. I work out in the community at Hy-Vee in the meat department, been working there for 6 years, and also I live in my own apartment independently. And I do want to mention that I did help three individuals in Minnesota in person finding their community dream job. First person I helped was Brooke Corum. The second person I helped was Michael Hutchins. And my third person I helped was Jenny Skrill. Um, she can't be here right now because she's at work during this time. And I haven't heard from Mike. So hopefully Mike can join another time.
Well, how did you get connected with Brooke, Nate?
It all started back when we were at Action Club Theater in Mankato. That's where we first met.
And Brooke, what did you think about when Nate talked to you or you talked to him about finding a job?
Well, it took few years. Yeah, we met in I think it was June or July of 2011, and um, I started looking for a different job, and Nate was like, "Hey, why don't you try Hy-Vee?" That was I think April or May of 2023, and he was like, "Hey, why don't you try Hy-Vee?" And I did get, I'll admit, I got confused of the whole application process of IV. And, but I did get another job during that time. And then about maybe a year or so later, I decided to leave that job too. And here's Nate pestering me again, be like, hey, why don't you try IV again? And I admitted that I had some problems with the application process, and he was able to help me like look where I needed to go.
Great. And, the application process can be a little bit overwhelming at times too, can it?
Yes, I can.
And having somebody in there is nice. Now, you've been at Hy-Vee for a while now, and for people that aren't from the Midwest, Hy-Vee is a major grocery store chain in the Midwest.
Yes, it
So,
is.
uh, just as you think about it, what's it like having somebody like Nate, working in the same store? That do you find that's kind of a help to you along the way?
Yeah, trying trying not to say anything sarcastic here, but there's nothing really sarcastic I can say about Nate, anyways. Um,
You know,
other
Nate and I go to the same barber. Did you know that?
No, we don't.
Yeah, we won't. But you know, it's got to be nice having somebody you know going through the process with you. Was that, and then being there at work with you in the store. You guys don't always work the same shifts, I suspect.
No, like I know me and him do not work on Saturdays and Sundays unless they need help, and I know he doesn't work on Tuesdays, and I work Monday through Friday during school hours.
Great. Olivia, there's great success in Nate helping three people find jobs. This project that you've got, the peer mentoring program, and employment's a big part of it. What do you see happening? These kind of matches that people do and helping them get through the process. It's got to be pretty exciting when you see the results that you've had.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. It's the best part of the job for sure. I think what is really great, so Nate and I have been working together for about 3 years now. And so it's been really great just working with Nate. And at first, none of the peer mentors had done this before, help people find jobs. And Nate went through the training and is really enthusiastic. And all of a sudden, he started taking initiative, Nate, as you do, and going and just talking with people and letting them know he was a peer mentor. And then because he was able to connect with people in his own community, Nate, you could give advice about like your place of work, Hy-Vee, places that you thought might be good fits for people. You've gone through the application process at Hy-Vee, so you were able to help with that. And so it's just been really wonderful to see like how organic this program can be and what a natural support it can be in communities. So, yep, it's been great to see it grow and see more and more people be helped.
Great. Well, Nate, talk a little bit about Mike and Jenny and how you help them along the way.
Well, with Mike, I helped him get a job at 1020 Tavern, and he got the job for about 2 to 3 years. He was working there in a dishwasher, and he no longer works there anymore because new management took over the place,
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
and then he left. And then with the skills that was provided with him, how to apply for a new job, how to go through interviews and stuff, he applied to Culver's on his own with the skills that I taught him,
Nice.
and he got the job at Culver's.
Brooke, do you think if another friend of yours came up and asked for help about getting a job, do you think you would feel more comfortable now, having been through this with Nate, about making suggestions, or would you hook them up with Nate to help them out as well? Um, how do you think that would work for you? If somebody came to you, a friend from Action Club or some other person that you knew that just saw your success and maybe wanted to try something themselves.
um, I think with some stuff I would help be like, hey, I do have somebody that could possibly help, which I would refer to them as to Nate. And like sometimes at the last two jobs I did have Mike Hutchins be like, hey, can you help me? Can you get your since you're working there, can you get your foot into the door for me? And I did not want to be honest with him, but I I did have to be honest with him. And at my last job, it was all visual, and like you had to read the numbers to load the trucks, and Mike did not like that. And and then a job before that, um, like if somebody were to put like a stool or a meat lugger or whatever in Mike's way, and he didn't know it, like if you were to take like 5 steps one way to get something and take 5 steps back, and if they were to put something in his way, he would might get hurt or something. And I suggested my kids probably not a good idea to work at these two places. And he doesn't like it. I told him no.
Yeah. It's all about finding the right fit, isn't it? Like you said, not every job is the right fit for you along the way.
Yeah, and like I know in not my last job, but job before that, in some areas it would have been a good fit, but then they were trying to put him in a spot where you had to like inspect, and I wasn't sure if he would have been good at or not good, comfortable in that area.
Well, Nate, as you look at folks that come to talk to you and they think about what they want to do, how do you help them think about whether this is a good fit or not?
Based off their interests and their strengths and their skills, what they have, what they could use at this type of job.
A young lady told me the other day, we were talking about a job and she was just leaving high school and never worked. And she had watched one of our MyQuillo videos that it talked about, somebody asks you, you've never worked before, and you ask them, where do you want to work? And she'd watched one of our videos, and the question this person said is, well, don't ask people where they want to work. Where would they like to visit and see what it's like? And see if there are nice people that work there. Because it was all about finding a good fit with the people you work with too. And are these nice people? And she said that was the best thing, that finally she got people to understand she wanted to work with nice people. It wasn't so much the job, she wanted to work with nice people. And for her, that was really important. And she said something to me. She said, I want to work with people that don't judge me. And she said, I feel like every time people look at me, they're judging me. I just wanted people to know that I'm Lucy, and they like me for being Lucy. So that was really a really great thing. So when somebody first comes to you, Nate, and also when, like with Mike, where he didn't like the first job, and you're helping him figure out something better, uh, how do you talk to him about that? How do you find out what they don't like, what they really would like to do different?
Well, I do know what he really wants in a job in woodworking.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he has his own personal shop at his house in the storage, but he would like to use that and do making woodworking stuff and sell
Gotcha.
his projects.
Well, and that's just something to kind of keep your eye open in what you hear about for of what's out there.
Yeah,
Very cool.
he he has been making coasters, and he sold a 4 pack of coasters for me. They're $20 a piece.
Nice. Well, and you don't have to start big. You can start small with that.
Yeah.
Now, Olivia, how many peer mentors do you have statewide now?
Yeah, we have 9 peer mentors, so quite a few. And they're spread out across the state. We're always trying to find more peer mentors just so we have even more areas covered. And we really like to pair mentors with people who are a good fit location-wise and personality-wise. So it's really nice that it's grown, that we have that many now. And something else that is really nice about having a larger group of peer mentors, and the peer mentors and I meet together once a month so that they can talk with each other and learn from one another. And I think it's really great because not only is the program helping peer mentors connect with individuals looking for a job, but it also is a great support for the peer mentors being able to know one another, and talk with someone who's employed and going through some of the same challenges. And I think a really wonderful example of that is, Nate, when you connected with Ginny, who you mentioned earlier as another peer mentor who's
Yeah.
actually at work right now, so she's not able to join us. But Nate, did you want to talk maybe about connecting with Jenny and maybe just about her story and how that went?
Yeah, so I connected with Jenny at the Olmsted Academy, and she came up to me and asked me, "Hey Nate, I need help finding a job. What should I do?" I was like, "Okay." Well, after the Olmsted Academy that evening, we stepped aside and did some work. First, we built a resume. Then we talked about what jobs you're interested in, or what jobs have you worked in the past. And so I helped her build a resume, sent that to her, and then she is now working at Dollar General up in her hometown.
And you did all of this over the internet because you're a couple hours away, right?
Well, I did it in person because I was at the Olmsted Academy.
Okay, got it.
So everything was done in person. And then once the resume was finalized on her end, we were still working after the Olmsted Academy to get the resume finalized.
Nice.
And then I was able to send it to her, and then she was able to get the job.
Great. So if there was somebody out there listening anywhere in the country that is thinking about they'd like to think about working, they've never taken that step for a lot of reasons. Maybe they don't feel they're ready, maybe they're unsure, a little worried about it, or they just haven't found the right person to help them. What would each of the three of you give? And maybe we'll start with you, Nate, and then Brooke, and then Olivia. What would your advice to be for someone that is just starting this journey and thinking about working?
Well, I would mention ask for help when you need it. It's okay to ask for help. Another thing is look at your strengths and your interests for applying for a job. Will they be best fit for your job? And another reason is, do you enjoy working for that company? Have you shop at that store before, etc.?
It's a good idea. Yes. Great. Brooke, what would you say to someone that's just starting out looking for a job and has never worked before?
Um, you can see if they um, goodness, kind of the same thing as Nate, but see if they like to keep to themselves or if they're talkative, like if they're introvert or extrovert. Um, oh, I was thinking of stuff and the thought went away. Um, my brain does that sometimes.
It happens to me
Um,
all the time.
yeah, see if they don't mind talking and yeah, if they're an extrovert, um, then it'll be okay if it might be okay if they do like work at a store or and if they're introvert, maybe not so much as a store if they like back away from certain conversations or hey, yeah, I can't think of anything else other than that.
That's a really good point, Brooke, because I had a young man get his first job and he loved working at a Jiffy Lube store where they change oil, but he didn't want to be around people. He wanted to be down in the pits, organizing the filters and the oil and checking all those things because he really liked being organized down there and he didn't like so much being around people. So, that idea of do you like being around people a lot and talking to folks, or does maybe that make you uncomfortable? That's really a good suggestion there. So, thank you for that. Olivia, what would you say for somebody just starting out?
Um, I think a big thing that is important to keep in mind is just to try things. It can be really intimidating for anyone to start something new, especially a new job. And sometimes people can get stuck in the mindset that whatever job they have is the job they have to keep forever.
Yeah.
And I think looking at it more as an experiment, almost like maybe you do go to that job and love it and stay forever, but maybe you decide it's not for you. Whatever you learned at that job or whatever you didn't like about that job or did, you can take that information with you now and hopefully find a job that's an even better fit. So I think not being afraid to try something new and also not looking at a job not working out as a failure. It's more of just information and helps you to take that next step to a better job.
That's a really good point, Olivia. I had a young man tell me he didn't want to leave the workshop because what happens if he failed in the job and would people think badly of him? And I said, I fail at things almost every day, you know? So if it's not the right fit, you can find something else. And you know, you might find something that's really better because you've learned about yourself. Well, and the one thing that you've done with this program too, Nate, that I think is so exciting is you helped people do things and it didn't always require outside staff working with them, right? You just helped encourage them to do what they could do to apply, get the job, and keep working. And so many times people think they have to have a job coach or somebody that's working with them. Nothing wrong with that. But you've shown that you can help people get jobs just with some advice and help and things that are going along. So I think that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Well, I thank you all for doing this. Or any last thoughts before we sign off for today that you'd like to share? And thank you for being on here and talking about what we're doing. Any last thoughts you want to say to people that might be listening in?
I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to our videos. You have any questions, feel free to contact Olivia Lepe or myself, Nate Clark, and we'll connect you with the right person as a peer mentor.
Absolutely. And down below in the description of the video today and the podcast, we're going to put the contact information for Olivia and Nate as well. So thank you all for being part of this. And it's just sharing your story. I just so happy that you're here to do it with us. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.